Okay.
Can you hear me?
Madam Chair.
You're going to be able to approve the minutes?
I can make a motion. Good evening and welcome to the Ordinance Subcommittee. Today is Tuesday, April 12th, 2022, 7:05. Members are present. Councilor Levy, myself, the chair, and our councilor president is going to be on behalf of Selena Reyes. Roll call. Councilor Levy.
Present.
Councilor LaPlante.
Present.
And chair voting yes, we have quorum. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Act of 2022, this meeting of Ordinance Committee is being conducted both in person and via remote participations. A reminder that the persons who like to listen to view this meeting while it's in progress may either attend in person at the location above or use of any of the following access locations: Facebook Lawrence City Council page and YouTube Lawrence City Council page. Councilor, I'm going to be taking a couple of items out of order. Councilor, can I get a motion to take document 9322 out of order?
So moved.
Okay, document 9322 is the Puerto Rican Pride Parade and Festival Campaign Common on August 7, 22, from 11 a.m. through 10 p.m. I know that we have some of the applicants here that they're gonna.
Yes.
Okay.
The Vice President, Ruben Gonzalez.
Fernando Aguilar Maldonado, President.
You need to come to the podium.
Sorry about that.
Name and address for the record.
Ruben Gonzalez, Vice President of the parade.
Fernando Aguilar, the President of the parade, of the Puerto Rican
Pride.
Proud Parade.
Puerto Rican Proud Parade.
Can you tell us a little bit how this event is going to be held, how it's going to be the procedure? So can you tell us a little bit?
This is the second one we got. We had the first one. I'm sorry.
Listen to you.
Okay, this is the second parade we got. The first one was in 2019. We had it on, and with the Puerto Rican movement all together. We had the parade, and they had the stage, the Puerto Rican people, and the Puerto Rican movement. Now, this year, we got the Puerto Rican movement, and we got with us Así Canta Puerto Rico, too. And people from La Octavitas and Pégate a las Cuatro of the radio station, Wednesday to Friday, 4 to 5. They participate in few groups with us, like Domingo Melendez not here right now, Nancy Torre, several people with us, you know, and the president of the Puerto Rican movement too, and she's not with us. She's busy working, you know, and she lives in Lower. And a lot of people most are working. That's why they're not show up and we don't. We retire people. Well, he works at his own company. That's it. But we're doing the same thing like the first time we did it. The parade, we had a short routes. Now they want to do the same routes like Spanish Week. Going, taking Broadway and then taking Hable, the same one. We had it small, Park Street and Lawrence Street. No, they want it a little bit more bigger because they complain because a lot of people was waiting for us in Broadway.
Yes.
And Hable. Then that's why we're gonna do it the same route of the Perican Parade.
So it's gonna be the same routes that Semana Hispana.
Semana Hispana, you're
So are
right.
you gonna have any police details or?
Soon we just got approved, they tell us to go with them with the proof and, they can let us know how many cops we need and everything and all that stuff.
Officer David, I spoke to Officer David, which is in charge of the events.
Sorry,
Yeah, I spoke to Officer David, he's in charge of all the city events, and he told me that once we have the approval to come and see him, and then he'll require the proper authorities, manpower that we could use, and I said that I wouldn't have a problem with that. And the reason that we requested to do the same walk as the Hispanic parade, Semana Hispana, was because at the first time, there was a lot of comments and downfall that most of the people were waiting for, expecting us to come by through the Broadway Street, and, you know, so we had a lot of negativity back then, and we like to make it then so like that we won't have that type mistake again.
do you have to report how many cars is going to be in the parade? Or you are still taking application for the people who wants to be part of?
What we're gonna do by the clubs, Ruben's idea, and it's good, we're gonna take every club, like no more than 10 cars. Will be shorter, you know? I had it, the first event, we had it like 8 cars. But 2 won't be a different, and we're gonna take 10 car, different clubs or whatever. We're gonna have flatbed and
Well, my idea was that also there's quite of a selection of tow trucks companies that have become, they are all Puerto Ricans and they have bought and opened their own companies, tow truck companies. And I spoke to them to see if they could participate in the parade. And also, so like that, any of the members from the political members that want to join and be part of the parade, instead of just walking, they could also choose their own flatbed tow trucks like that. They could be on top of a platform instead of just walking the entire way, okay? And they also could use these flat trucks, okay, to do their own publicity with banners and signs and stuff like that.
It's gonna open the floor for any other councilors or representatives if they might have any question.
Absolutely.
Councilor LaPlante, President LaPlante.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and through you. So just as a reminder, we are not approving the route. That is purely a function of the police department. The only thing we're issuing a permit for is your use of the common. In the citizen serve document that you have, and this could be a little old, so you may have done some more stuff. There's 2 things that are missing on here. One is the review of the application from the fire and building and health, and also looks like there's also the licensing board. So there's 2 things that need to be filled out for that. So have you already filled that out?
no, what happened is, we was waiting for this event right now. What happening tonight? Soon we get this, then we're gonna do everything sooner possible we can.
That's fine. So the timing, through you, Madam Chair, the timing is up to you as to what order you want to do it. As long as it's all done by the time we get to the council, we're good. So you just know you got a couple things missing.
Okay.
And we should be, from the full council perspective, I think we should be good.
I appreciate it. Thank you so
would
much.
think.
Yes, that's the way they are being doing that, and that's the reason that we need to change something, because we need to approve it before they go to the license and the health departments, which we have to kind of change that around, but, you know, we are going to be dealing after.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but what happened, the cops said that, get it approved over here, then go to them.
Yes.
That's what they tell us.
That has nothing to do with you. No, I know. We're just talking about the applications.
Okay.
Yes. No more question?
No,
Anything?
I make a motion to approve. Send it full council with favorable recommendation. Apologies.
Okay. Councilor, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante?
Yes.
And the chair is voting yes, it passes. So, you know that you need to be in front of the city, our next city council meeting, which is going to be next Tuesday? Yes. It is next Tuesday.
looking forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Councilor, can I get a motion to take document 9522 out of order?
So moved.
Councilor Levy, all those in favor?
Aye.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor President?
Yes.
The chair is voting yes. Document 9522 is Esperanza Academy graduation ceremony, Campament Common on 11/6/11/22, June 11/22, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. It has been put in the agenda by Helen Picard. Good evening.
Hi, my name is Diana Eris. I'm here on behalf of Helen and Esperanza Academy. We're a small independent girls' school right across from the Common, and I'm actually part of their first graduating class. And I'm working there now, and this year we want to do our graduation outside in the park, instead of the church, but we do have the church as a backup in case it rains that day. It's an 8th grade graduation.
This is the first time that you're going to be doing this type of event as a graduations?
Yeah,
I thought, because I don't remember that. So this is going to be the graduation, and you're going to have like a small ceremony at the park?
yeah. So it's only, I think, 13 or 14 graduates. We're a really small school. And there's about 60 students in total. So it's going to be the students and the family members. And we were thinking of having them on those like stone steps, if possible, to sit there. And then we would rent out chairs so that everybody else could sit in front of them to watch them graduate.
That together, and just to kind of motivate our youth, I think we have to be more involved in that, and I'm sure that after you doing that, many other schools, they are going to try to do that and continue motivating our youth. You have any question, Councilor President?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and again, through you, we just have the permit application. There's some blanks on here. This could be old, you may have gotten it already, but just a reminder that these things need to get cleared before they come to the council. So we'll be looking, at least I'll be looking for that next Tuesday, so.
Okay.
And by the way, this is a very short week, and you got a short week next week, right? So City Hall's closed it's open for half a day on Friday, and it's closed on Monday. So we have a meeting on Tuesday, so you're less time to move on some of these things.
So just to clarify, we should complete the permit if it's not complete, and we should come here next Tuesday and have it all completed?
Yes.
Okay.
Councilor Levy, you have any question?
No.
Motion.
Make a motion to send to the full council with a favorable recommendation pending the sign-offs.
All those in favor?
Yes. Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante?
Yes.
And the chair voting yes. Thank you. You also need to be present to our next city council next Tuesday.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Next document is, can I get a motion to take document 9222 out of order?
So moved.
All
You
in
say
favor?
92? You
Okay.
say 92?
92.
Thank you.
Councilor Levy. President LaPlante.
Yes.
And the chair is voting yes. 9222 is a United Way Community Baby Shower Campament Common on May 7th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Good evening, name and address for the record.
Hi, good evening. Hope Davenport. Do you want my work address or home address?
Record.
Okay. On my application, it's 305 Essex Street here in Lawrence, at Greater Lawrence Community Action. Okay, so I'm here representing Greater Lawrence Community Action. I'm the Health and Nutrition Division Director there. This will be I just completed 2 years there. This will be our second year hosting a community baby shower. Last year, we were contacted by the United Way of Mass Bay and Merrimack Valley to host a community baby shower and to be creative due to the pandemic. We held a curbside pickup event for low-income pregnant women and families that had new babies. So we invited them to attend the event last year to do a curbside pickup. So they picked up free gifts sponsored by the United Way. They received a case of diapers, wipes, a $75 gift card, and some child safety items and program information for families with children under 6 months of age or pregnant. So we did that successfully last year. This year, I had a lot of interest from other programs to promote their programs at the baby shower. So last year, we conducted the event in our parking lot on Common Street. So the Head Start Common parking lot is where we held the event. We set up tents and tables and had people drive through. This year, with some more interest, we decided to apply for a permit to have some tables set up in the Common on the Lawrence Street side, just near the YWCA and near the YMCA. I'm not sure if we'll need that space, but I thought it was a good idea to apply just in case.
This has nothing to do with your organization, but this is something that I always try to explain to every applicant is coming in front of us. Are you planning to have any speaker on the common area?
Speakers? No.
One thing that we always recommend that is we not allow any vehicle to be parking inside of the park. So if you need to load any, for the event, you use the park and then you have to move your vehicle and park outside.
Okay.
So Councilor President?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, just looking at the application, most of this is filled in. Just fire, building, and health. Just looks like that's probably missing. Everything else looks to be in order, but you may have already, again, these are delayed by days, so you may have already did the work on this. So just to make sure that everything is filled out for you, Madam Chair, and we should be good to go. I think it's a fascinating, I'm just curious, does this happen anywhere else in the country, or?
Well, United Way is hosting these events all over the state of Massachusetts that I know of, but I don't know about other states.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion, to send this up to the full council with a favorable recommendation pending maybe one last sign off.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante?
Yes.
And the chair is voting yes. Thank you. Also needs to be present to our next city council meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
One signature is missing, or?
Madam Chair, it appears as though the fire, building, and health, Liza Rosario, That approval is missing. I note that the city clerk is there and the city council is missing, but those are things that obviously we already have because it's in front of us.
Okay.
So it's just, that one is the only one that I can see.
Okay. And next Tuesday at 7? Yes. Is that correct? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next document, can I get a motion to take document 9022 out of order?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Councilor Levy,
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante,
Yes.
and Chair is voting yes. Document 9022 is the Earth Day component common on April 30th from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Good evening.
Good evening. Leslie Melendez, Groundwork Lawrence, 50 Island Street. And we have, because of all of the things that have gone on over the last couple of years, have not done this event in person, and we would like to return to that this year. On a smaller scale, not looking at 1,000 people, but looking at more 250 to 300 folks gathering at the Common, picking up their tools, having some breakfast, then heading out to approximately 10 sites across the city to do spring cleaning, and then return to the Common to have lunch and then wrap up.
Okay. Any question, because I've been part of that for many years. I'm just going to leave it open for any counselor, because I don't think you're going to do anything different than what you just said. Small group instead of the amount of people that we used to see in the past.
Yeah.
Councilor President, do you have any questions, since you always being part of that?
I think it's great, so whatever that's worth for you, Madam Chair. As I've been talking to other people as well, you may already have these things filled out. I think just 2 of them are here, one's licensing board, which I don't think is really impactful.
Yeah.
Just to get that just approved and sign that off. Another one seems to be the fire, building, and health with Liza Rosario, so I think that's it. that I
I'll
can
make
see.
sure it gets taken care of.
It could be that you are all set. Councilor President and we are planning on working on some of this application that many question is not applicable for you. It could be that you're all set to go, so just double check, make sure that whenever you come in front of us next Tuesday, you have all that application complete.
Not a
Okay.
problem.
So you know the rules.
Yes,
Next
ma'am.
week, so looking for a motion.
Motion to send this up to the full council with a favorable recommendation pending the remaining signatures.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Councilor Levy,
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante,
Yes.
and the chair is voting yes. Okay, motion passed.
Thank you very much. We'll
Thank
see you next
very
week.
much. Okay, so we are gonna be taking 2 more items. Document 80s, can I get a motion to take document 8722 out of order?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante?
Yes.
And the chair is voting yes. Document 8722 is a raining in the valley on 8/19 and 8/20 at Campanun Common. It has been put in the agenda by Stephen Ortega. Good evening. Name and address for the record.
My name is Angela Chavarria. When you mean address, you mean where I live?
Record.
Okay, my address is 52 Lake Street in Lawrence.
Okay.
Mhm.
So can you tell us a little bit more about your event?
Yes, we've been celebrating the same event since 2012. So this is going to be our 10th anniversary. Just 1 year we didn't celebrate due to COVID. But this event is, the sponsor is Amedal, is the pastors of the city, evangelical pastors. At this event, we all gather to celebrate at the park. It's just to preach, and we have music. The young people they do some kind of theaters and like small festivals on Fridays. And on Saturday, we do the preaching, try to get souls, to reach the people.
Okay, I believe that you heard me saying that this has nothing to your organization, but I have to repeat that to any applicants. If you're gonna have any speaker, it needs to be toward to your group, not to the street. So in the past, we've been getting a lot of complaints that the music is too loud or the speaker is too loud. Also, you're not allowed to park any vehicle inside of the park,
Understood.
okay? So, Councilor LaPlante, what did they have for the application, if you have any questions?
Well, Madam Chair, I looked at the application and everything is signed in, so it looks good. I'd like to make a motion that we send it up to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Councilor Levis,
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante,
Yes.
and the chair is voting yes. You also need to be present to our next city council meeting, which is going to be next Tuesday, in case one of the councilor they're not present, they have any question for you,
At 7?
at 7.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to take document 8322 out of order?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Yeah.
Okay, Councilor Levis,
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante,
Yes.
and the chair is voting yes. Document 8322 is a junk dealer license, Auto Recycler Group LLC, 48-50 Medford Street. Robert Nash, good evening, welcome, and nice seeing you again.
Nice seeing you again, too. Hello there. Robert Nash, 48-50 Medford Street in Lawrence, Auto Recyclers Group, and I'm the president of the company.
Nothing new, he's been coming in the past. Okay, so it's only one thing missing. What is it, Council President?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, what is missing apparently is the city clerk's office. But that may be a formality. I would just double check with them one more time. I see them on there twice, so I'm a little confused. One's approved and the other one says under review.
Yeah, I think that's your spot, I think she told me.
That's our spot?
Yeah, that's what she told me.
All right, well, that makes some sense then.
Okay.
So it appears then, if that's in fact the case, and it probably is, then this looks acceptable. I do have a question, though. Are there... You're a highly regulated industry, I'm sure, not only here locally, but with the state. Have you comported with all your state requirements as well?
Every one of them. Yeah, like you said, it's a highly regulated industry, so stormwater, and, I mean, I can go down the list, but yes.
Okay. That's it for my questions. Thank you.
Looking for a motion?
Motion to send up to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Councilor Levy,
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante,
Yes.
and the chair is voting yes. Motion passed. Thank you.
See you Tuesday.
See you Tuesday. Okay.
Thank you.
You here?
Yes, I'm actually covering Jessica Aquino for Cielo y Tierra. I wasn't here for the first 20 minutes of the meeting. She had a last-minute emergency. I don't know if you guys had already called her name.
Motion to take document 8222 out of order.
So moved.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Councilor Levis,
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante,
Yes.
and the chair is voting yes. Document 8222 is a Cielo en Tierra en Intimidad con Dios, Spray Park of the Point is going to be on June 25th, 22, 6 p.m. I'm only have the time 6 p.m. You don't have any time between, like at what time you're gonna start to set up, and what the time, the 6 p.m. is just to
It's
finish?
probably to begin. I would say it's probably to begin. Probably need a 2-hour setup prior to that to set up just the stage.
Sorry, I didn't take your name and your address for the record.
No worries. My name is Alexira Cloves, 45 Kent Street in Lawrence.
Yeah. So let's just give it, because I have 6 p.m. here.
Yeah, in the past, I think we've done like either 2 to 3 hours to set up the sound and the stage. So, but I will have to confirm with her. She just had a last-minute emergency, asked me to be present.
And it's to start at 6 p.m., right?
Yes.
So as I don't think you were here when I was telling the other applicants,
Okay.
which is, this is public record. If you're gonna have any speaker, it needs to go toward to your group,
Okay.
not to the public.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to park any vehicle inside of the park,
Okay,
okay?
sounds good.
This is the first time that you're gonna be holding this event?
No, this will be the third time. We did skip it through COVID because of regulations. I believe last year it got approved, but we didn't go through with it because there was a conflict with another, like the same thing that Angela Echeverria was doing. So we didn't want to conflict with them because it's all part of the same churches, so.
So, Councilor President, anything missing from the application?
Madam Chair, it appears so. It appears that there's 2 or 3 different items that are missing.
Okay,
2 of them from the fire, Eliza Rosario and Pasquale. Currently,
okay.
but
Okay, so let me just write this stuff down for her, if you don't mind.
so sure. So I'd be happy to go over them again. This is all on the computer system.
Okay, no worries.
And all you have to do is just go back into the Citizen Serve, and you know it should be relatively intuitive to find out what's missing and then fill in them
Okay,
out.
I'll communicate that to her.
Any reason you tried not to get through your application, just give them a call to
Okay.
make sure that you need those sign off. Like I say, and I've been repeated, many application is a lot of question that is not applicable, which I can see 2 of them that is not applicable for you, but you double check with them.
Okay.
Okay?
Sounds good?
Motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we send this up to the full council with a favorable recommendation pending all the sign-offs.
Right.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Council Levy,
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante,
Yes?
and of course, the chair voting yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you. Okay, I think I'm going to take the last document out of order. Can I get a motion to take document 10522 out of order?
So moved.
All those in favor? Councilor Levy, 105.
Okay, thank you.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante?
Yes.
And the chair is voting yes. 105 is a reclassification of the Chief of Administrative Officer's position. It has been put on the agenda by Mayor Brian De Peña. I know that we have someone from his office that is going to explain a little bit about this position.
Madam Chair, good evening. Council President and other councilors that are present, good evening. Octavian Spanner, 200 Common Street. This is a request to reclassify the position of Chief Executive, well, first changing the title of Chief Executive Officer to Chief of Staff and reclassification of the position. The reason why we're requesting is for this position to be fully funded through the mayor's office and with an increase in compensation. That is basically our request. And the job description that we have added based on the responsibility that comes with the position.
Adding any duties to that position, or everything is going to stay the same since that they are going to have more compensation?
Well, as the way that we have previously discussed and has been debated during the city council meeting concerning the position of senior policy advisor as well as chief of staff, there's a difference between the two positions based on the mayor's platform and agenda. The position of chief of staff would have more responsibilities in terms of dealing with department heads, in making sure that the city operation internally is managed appropriately. As you know, there has been complaints about customer services, and that's one of the reasons why we have added certain responsibilities or have clarified the responsibilities in regards to the chief of staff position. And furthermore, the compensation compared to other communities, the chief of staff position is not compensated accordingly based on the responsibility that the individual is performing right now.
Okay, Councilor, any questions? Councilor President?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and for you, and welcome, Mr. Spanner. We appreciate your attendance here this evening. I'm not seeing in here where the salary is. Can you help point that out to me in the document?
It's based on the, I believe the position is based on a previous classification. I don't know if we have added.
No, I see that in the memo. Now that I'm looking at it, you're looking to change to a grade 9.
Yes.
That's what it says here. One of the things that we're going to be changing the ordinance, of course, for this position, and we just need to make sure that when it's published, that's probably a key component of that. So it's we need to make sure.
I believe right now it's at 75. There's the compensation is between 75 and 85. I don't know the scale right now, but we can provide that information.
I think all that to satisfy this counselor would be to just have a section in there that says compensation, and then say salary, wage, whatever the number is, grade 9, and and have that. If you want to put the numbers in, I guess.
Yes, we can add that for you.
That's what I would do.
Yes.
The second thing,
I know that the director of finance is waiting for a report from the Edward Collins Center and to review most of the position, and but there's a specific request in regards to this specific compensation based on salary comparison, but we can add that in the memo.
yeah, I think that would be because I think counselors, we should be having that, to be honest.
We will be adding it.
The other thing is this is in the mayor's office, exclusively in the mayor's office. There's
Yes.
no other chief of staff anywhere else in the city.
No.
So is this coterminous with the mayor's
Yes.
position? And is
Yes.
that in here?
It's in the ordinance.
If you have it, it can direct me where that is.
I don't have it with me right here. If it's not added, if it's not under it, then we can add it in the upon your request, if it's at the pleasure of the city council.
Well, I can certainly make a motion and see if my colleagues agree, and that's one. The other thing is under the qualifications, education, and experience, There's a master's degree in public administration or related field, 5 to 7 years progressively responsible experience in the municipal government field is preferred, or an equivalent combination of education and experience. I guess, what's your definition of equivalent combination of education and experience? If you had a bachelor's degree, would that prohibit you from being able to get this position? Or would you still be in play if you don't have a master's degree?
Well, you're correct. It could be, the minimum requirement would be a bachelor's degree, a college degree, a bachelor's degree with the experience based on the responsibility that is given. Some chief of staff does not require, as you know, in some public areas, and other agencies, you have chief of staffs that are basically inexperienced. In the city of Lawrence, with its complexity and the responsibility, in this case with the mayor's agenda, it requires someone that has the experience to deal not only internally with the different department heads, but also have an understanding on municipal operation, handling of customer affairs, and also dealing with the public. And it requires someone, a seasoned person, that is keen and and also has knowledge in understanding and working both with the mayor and a culturally sensitive community.
I appreciate that. So just so I'm clear, so it can be someone with a bachelor's degree under the current iteration, correct? So,
Yes, it could be bachelor's degree, preferably a master's degree. We can put that one.
okay. Could you have a high school degree and have a lot of experience?
No, in this case, it would not be appropriate.
Okay. And then what is and I know that grade 9 is going to change after the Collins Center does its review. What's the grade 9, right? Do you know where the grade 9 is right now? What that range is?
I think the grade 9 is between 75 and 85,000, if not, I'm not mistaken.
Okay. I'll
But,
vote thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Spanner.
Councilor President. Mr. Spanner, I think what you have to do is just take a note and make sure that you send that information down to be ready for our next city council meeting, so that every councilor have all that information that they might gonna need in order for them just to proceed.
We will do that before tomorrow, first thing in the morning.
Motion?
I'd like to make one more comment, Madam Chair, is that our ordinances, and I did not bring my ordinance book with me, our ordinances are very precise as to what is required. The information that is inside here is tremendous, but it's not what we have to approve, all the duties and the functions. I mean, some of that stuff is required. I would just remind that if you go back to the ordinance that describes what it is that we're going to be voting on, and that would be helpful for me, and I would imagine for my colleagues.
Yes, in the ordinance, what we would just like to change is the position title, because I think it's very clear what the responsibility of the position. We added the job description and made it more detailed based on the previous experiences that we had during the council meeting, requesting more job description, so we wanted to be thorough.
Okay, I think what you have to do is just to kind of go back with the city attorney. Make sure that you can review it, what we are going to be approving, and if this is going to be enough. You don't have to be crazy looking for something that we probably doesn't need to have it in our package, but again, go and check with her to make sure that what we approving, we're going to be safe, and you're going to be safe as well.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
So the motion?
I'd like to make a motion, and we send this up to the full council with a favorable recommendation, pending, I'm going to add this, pending the information regarding the coterminous provision, make sure that's clear in there, coterminous with the mayor, and also the salary grade 9 somewhere inside the document.
Okay. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante?
Yes.
And the chair is voting yes. Thank you. I lied to you. I still gonna be taking some more item out of order. Can I get a motion to take document 10322 out of order?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante,
Yes.
and the chair voting yes. Document 10322, request to change ordinance 2.12.060, scheduling secretary ordinance 2.12070, resectionist ordinance 2.12090, program coordinator for economic development ordinance 2.104.060, human right executive director. It has been put on the agenda by Mayor Brian DePena. Mr. Spanner.
We're looking at the three positions, correct, if I'm not mistaken? The four positions?
Is the scheduling
Yeah,
secretary?
the four position, the
Yep.
change of ordinance. Right now, in the ordinance, we have a scheduling secretary. The position of scheduling secretary is not a position right now that is needed in for the mayor's office that was going back in the days when you had a person that just would do the scheduling. So the request is to change the position title to administrative coordinator. So we have the executive assistant that deals with most of the work, scheduling, and also meeting, taking notes, and sending the information to in coordination with the chief of staff to the different department head. And this position will coordinate, as we saw that is needed, not only the answering of the phone, but also helping the executive assistant and working with the public as soon as they come to the mayor's office with any needs that they have. The second position, we're requesting a change of the position title of receptionist to a data entry clerk. That is happening currently. This is more than a receptionist. The person also submits information and directs any request from the public and any response and any notes to the different department and offices, and we keep track and record of those as a follow-up to see if once we receive once the mayor meets or staff meets with a resident, what is the follow-up? And that's how we keep track of how problems are solved in our office, in the mayor's office. The third position, that is the program coordinator for economic development. This position is reporting right now to the Department of Economic Development. The mayor feels it is necessary for him in his office to have this position reporting directly to him and not to the Director of Community Development. The fourth position, which is the Human Rights Executive Director, the reason why we wanted this position to be, it's in ordinance right now, but it is vacant. It has never been funded. However, with the ARPA funding, as you see that there's different community stakeholders, organizations, individuals that are going to visiting both the city, requesting assistance, and those that we are referring to other nonprofit organizations, we want to make sure that their rights are protected in terms of basically a series of biases that they may feel, unfairness, and since it's quite a large amount of money, 57 million, even though some of the funding is allocated or will be used for different purposes, but we believe that the community should have proper representation.
President, I know that you have a question. Well, I know I've been meeting with the mayor's office for more than a month, so I know all my question has been answered. I'm gonna see if you have been doing your homework.
Madam Chair. Sorry. Will you be grading on the curve is the question? Good. Let's start off with the first one, 12.060.
But the first one,
Correct.
okay?
12.060. Now, keep in mind, all of these are in the mayor's office.
Yeah.
So there's a uniqueness about it because this is the mayor's office and you can't have the same position in other offices. This is strictly for the mayor's office. So the first one is a grade 3. What is the current, so the current salary for this, according to our ordinances, will be $26,000 per year. We're probably not even near there. What's the grade level 3? What do we expect that to be?
Council President, unfortunately, the mayor left the office, he locked the office. I don't have the keys to go in the office. That's the reason why I had our intern go upstairs and see if we can find, but I don't have it with me. We left that information upstairs. My apologies for that.
No worries. I think we can work around some of this.
And additionally, our Director of Finance as well had an emergency, he couldn't be here tonight.
So my question there will be, just so you just keep track of this, I'm just curious as to what a grade 3 is now. The last time this has changed for you, Madam Chair, was in 1998. So if I'm not a math major, but that's, to my math, that's 24 years ago. That's a while. Right. And heck, I think I was on the council back then. Just a long time ago. So it needs to be updated, and I frankly want to just take this opportunity briefly to applaud the mayor, because this has been going on for some time, and it's not an easy thing to do because you're kind of bearing everything out there and you're fixing the sloppiness over the years. So I want to give credit where credit is due to this administration for moving these things forward. So my second question will also be, which you don't have an answer to, is the same one for the 212070, the receptionist, to make it data entry and clerk. I'm curious as to what that grade.
And these may change because it's kind of confusing since we have the Collins Center preparing and evaluating all these salaries. And please be mindful that we are requesting these changes, but for the next budget year. So this is not for this current budget. It's for the next current budget year, which is going to start pretty soon, in July, at least.
Councilor President, I'll ask the question that you might need to ask for them to bring all that information for our next meeting.
We certainly could do that. I didn't want to cut to the chase, but there's one here that's a little more complex, and it's the next one, which is the Program Coordinator for Economic Development.
Yes.
That one right there doesn't have a place marker that I can see. Let me look at one more place
It's
here.
in the ordinance. It's the ordinance 2.12090.
I have it. So it's a Barrington Job Group 22. Thank you. So that does answer the question. So you're going to, but it says here that we are requesting pay to be determined by the Edward Collins. So that tells me that it's going to be different than a non-union Job Group 22. Or am I misreading it?
Yes.
Yes, too. I'll ask it a different way because that was a confusing question. If this thing passes, is it a non-union Job Group 22 or something else?
It's a non-union job.
Number 22 on the Barrington thing, that's in our current ordinances? Because it says here that we're looking at something completely, looks like it's something completely different in the text. We are also requesting the pay to be determined by the Edward Collins pay scale beginning as the FY23 budget. So that tells me that it's, if you just didn't even say that and just said it's going to be a Job Group 22 and then the Collins Center figures out what the new pay scale is for Job Group 22, that'd be one thing. am I confusing things, or is my question making sense?
Well, since in our conversation with the budget director, he's, I think, he's gonna have a new report from the Collins Center. So we wanted them to give us the information in terms of the pay scale, okay, currently, because it's gonna move, the council will have to adopt any changes that's gonna be presented in terms of the pay scale. I may be wrong, but I believe that's going to be presented before you. So some of those that are in, let's say, Barrington pay scale, or Bennett and Jarger pay scale would change, and that would be presented to you by the finance director before that time. So if we have a position that is in pay scale, let's say 5 or 6, and the Collins Center is presenting or making modifications or recommendation to change the pay scale, it would be based on what the old is providing to a new pay scale based on salary comparison. So right now, it's kind of difficult to put a pay scale because we're preparing for the new fiscal year.
When do you expect the Collins Center to come with that information?
I was informed by the Director of Finance that would happen pretty soon, in the next couple of weeks, before the new budget hearing.
So would we be, where would this be in the timeline of getting that? I mean, part of me kind of wants, I'm thinking out loud, through you, Madam Chair, part of me is thinking about the timing of this. Do we go through all this and then we get the information on what the new classification is? Do we know this beforehand and then do this? The timing is, I haven't.
Yeah, basically our request for now is because this position is reporting to the Director of Economic Development. We're requesting for this position to be reporting to the mayor on its current pay scale.
So the change here is the reporting, who
The
this person
reporting.
reports to.
Right, and the salary, obviously, once the Collins Center makes its recommendation, the finance director will come to you and request the changes to be adopted for the new fiscal year.
Yeah, and the one thing that I'm unclear about, and we probably don't have an answer tonight, is does the city council have the authority or the requirement to approve the new, whatever the Collins Center sends out? So the new, whatever, I don't even know what they're gonna call it, the new grade 16 is gonna be from 90 to 110. And then whatever is, I don't even know if the council gets that whole list and says, yes, grade 16 from this to this, and then we do it. I would think so, but I don't know that, so.
Okay, what we can do, if it pleases the council, is that the same as the position of chief of staff, we can submit it on the memo that accompany this document, and we would specify the pay scale. And
Pay scale is already in the ordinances. It says job 22, Barrington job 22.
yeah,
So what's different between this one and the chief of staff?
yeah, we are asking for reclassification. Yeah.
Is there- Yeah, and I'm
Right.
sorry that we're going to the minutia here, but better here at the full council level, I think.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you what my thinking is, and I don't know who will agree or not agree. So ultimately, I'm in favor. I like the direction that we're going with this. I'm just trying to figure out how we get there. So I think that it makes sense if the mayor decides he wants to change the reporting requirement, that's okay with me. If they want to go ahead and change the salary because the first of all, it has to reflect today's reality, and these salaries do not reflect today's reality. So we need to see those adjustments. I just don't know what those adjustments necessarily are and how they compare. I mean, if we have a receptionist, if you have a receptionist making $100,000 in the mayor's office, and then let's say there's a receptionist in another department, and they're making 55, well, now it's going to be, well, why is one receptionist getting paid 100 and the other one's getting 50? so we would think we would want to be able to have some sort of consistency throughout and make a value judgment as to why this job, not this person, this job gets this amount and that job gets this amount because of their duties. We won't know that until we see, I would imagine, the entire spectrum.
Right.
Right?
Yes, exactly. Now, what we can also do is leave it based on the recommendation of council. If we can maintain the pay scale as is, and then proceed with the reporting directly to the mayor's office.
That's a possibility. And my last point of questioning, it seems like we're going over several job classification. One was Barrington's, one was Bennett Yarger, and there's a third one too. Can you help me understand why we're
The difference is that we have done a salary comparison for each one of these positions. If the current salary, today we had the same experience with other positions. Not all of the positions in the city of Lawrence is lower than other communities. So some positions fluctuate. Some of them are compatible compared to other surrounding communities and population with the size of our population, and then you have others that are too low, like you just mentioned, the $26,000. That for you to hire someone to work in that position is practically impossible with the experience needed to perform the work. So in this case, that's the reason why you see that we maintain for the scheduling secretary and for the receptionist, which we're requesting to change the title of data entry clerk. Right? That's how we did it. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I will readily admit that this is not very clear to me as far as the pathway is concerned, partly because there's a lot of missing pieces, and the Collins report's not in. That's probably the biggest piece that's kind of missing, and then I think that's probably the biggest piece that's missing. The rest of the stuff makes at least some sense to me, but and the low-hanging fruit is the changing of the name. Got it. Earlier, it was the stuff dealing with education. Understand it, but it's when we're talking about the salaries, it's just very nebulous, and I'm just not able to grasp it.
Okay, what we can do, if it pleases the council, is to submit, if these items are approved, to go to full council, to submit a memo and adding the salary and pay scale based on the current, basically the Bennett Jarger and Associates recommendation.
Through you, Manager, I think that's helpful, because what we're going to be voting on essentially is qualifications, I think, job duties, and pay. So two of those three is very clear. What we have to do is if we're changing these things up, we need to know what the pay is. That's actually what we need to figure that out. So however I'm going to leave it to, my recommendation is leave it to you however you get it to us. I think I can only speak for myself. I'm willing to work with you on this, but I'll let you figure out how you get it. What I'm interested in is knowing those three components. How it gets here, I'm less interested in.
Yes. Please, and I would like to request or ask the council to be patient. We do have our HR, our personnel director that is not in. We are working diligently to finish the budget, and sometimes during the process, and because of time constraint, there might be items that maybe be completed. I'm very happy that you're bringing this to our attention, but please hold that into consideration when we're bringing these items for you. We're trying our best. There's 19 other positions that no other administration has taken the time to do this, and to bring, every time we have to take time from our busy schedule to work on these items takes away, as a matter of fact, we need more people to work, to do the job.
Okay, so I just encourage you that you do what we did the last time we met the mayor's office. It is work with our CAFA administrator.
Yes.
And also with the city attorney, just to kind of elaborate some piece of document that you can bring it down for us just to be clear what we are going to be voting and how I'm going to be voting. I know how I'm going to be voting, but again, many other councilors, they probably concerned about because they don't have all the information that they need to have clear in order for them just to feel comfortable with it, with the final decision. That's it.
Yep.
Just kind of go within, make sure that they bring, because I know that you don't have the document in front of you because you had it the last time we met. So make sure you have it so that way you can have all the questions, but if you can provide any more simple document that support what we are going to be voting, that's also help.
Thank you.
Okay? So the motion,
What kind of, before I make the motion, what's your time frame? I mean, you're trying to get this before the budget, so what's your time frame? I'm trying to figure out, do you want to leave it here, get this stuff information,
No,
we want to send to the full council?
We would like to move expeditiously. The answer tonight is because our CAFO, he was not able to be here. He had an emergency, and so if he was here, your questions would have been answered.
We do this, just to move this up. I'll make a motion to send it up to the full council with a favorable recommendation. And then there's some conditions associated with it. Some information regarding the current pay levels and what the anticipated pay levels are going to be. Understanding, of course, that could change based on the Collins Center, right?
Correct.
And I think that's probably, out of all that stuff, is probably the biggest condition. So that's my motion.
Thank you.
favor?
Aye.
Levy?
Yes.
President LaPlante?
Yes.
And of course, the chair voting yes.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Likewise. Thank you.
No, Officer Cano, don't get excited. We have another item that we need to take before, no, talking to Officer Cano. So can I get a motion to take, he get up like we're gonna be calling him next. But we have Councilor Payano who is requesting. Can I get a motion to take document 27821 out of table and out of order?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
President LaPlante?
Yes.
And chair voting yes. 27821 is a one-way street on East Haver Street in front of Partham School. Councilor Payano.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, as you know, that this item was put before you around December of last year, and it's of an important matter that has been troubling the community around the Partham School, not just since last year, but for years. I just spoke with the city engineer. While there has work that has been done within the schools to, or work that we're doing to try to, put signage and have good, great markings there is a matter of turning this into a one-way street. And I believe that the next step would be to order a traffic study. Now, one of the things that he has told me is that they're going to be conducting work on Marston Street, because Marston Street, the corner of East Haver and Marston Street, there's been a lot of different, traffic incidents. So what he has said, what he has recommended is that we conduct a traffic study, essentially for something that comes from the Ordinance Committee, asking him to conduct a traffic study so that way he can incorporate the study can incorporate the work that is currently being done on East Haverhill and Marston Street. So I'm just looking to see what we can do to try to move this item forward. I've been getting a lot of calls from parents and from teachers these last few months, and essentially what they're hoping to see movement on this.
So, a question for you. Are you looking for some time frame, like school hours? Not that you want to change one-way street, all the time?
That is a great question. So I think that what was going to come out of the city engineer and his study was the time frame for it. From my discussions with the mayor's office, it looked like what they were trying to do is have the one-way be depending on a certain time period that I do not have. But that is not something that was determined when I first introduced this motion.
Okay, I am very familiar with that school. My kids went to that school, and I know how is the traffic. I know it could be worse now, but I know that we have something similar on Old High School in Haverhill in Lawrence Street. So they blocked the street for 1 hour because I know that for much that the parents as well as the teacher, they are looking for some type of solution, but they don't live in that area. So I think, we can send this item to the city engineer, which is the one who's gonna be responsible for the traffic study. But keep in mind, and if you can pass that to them, that I don't want to see only, this is a very wide street. It doesn't really need to be a one-way street. I do understand that we have some issues going on for such a long time, which I was part of the first fight, waiting just to see something happen. And fortunately, when my kids were in that school, nothing major happened, so we don't have to wait until something happened, just to be clear. So I can send this item to the city engineer just to kind of give it a final report, because that has nothing to do with the police, that has to do with the city engineer, what they are gonna do. So I don't even have to bother to send this to Officer Cano, but yes, to the city engineer, and just to kind of see what he come out. And also, so I don't know how soon. I know the school year is gonna be end soon. So at least if we have something in place for next year, because I agree with you, has been going on for such a long time. But again, for those calls that you might gonna be continue receiving, just keep it in mind. I have counselor who has concern about that because I know the area, very familiar with the area.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would definitely appreciate that, and I think on my end, I will definitely be pushing for that study to be conducted sooner rather than later, just to see how quickly we can move on it. The other piece that I think is important is that the mayor's office has been in discussions with the school, and at this moment, I can't speak on as to what agreements, if any, have been made on this, but I think that's the other piece of it. So what they're waiting for is essentially for this study to be done, and I think once that's done, I'll be asking the mayor's office to be here, sort of offering what their recommendation is for this, so the ordinance committee can move on this item hopefully sooner rather than later.
Thank you, Councilor President. You have any questions?
I'm going to support whatever you want this evening. The one thing I just wanted through you, Madam Chair, just as we go through this, having gone through a one-way street potential myself in my district, there's always the law of unintended consequences once you start going and do one-way street at whatever time, and there's impacts about other neighborhood streets getting impacted, but I'm sure the study and all the discussions will factor that in.
And that's what I would hope, Council President. That the study is looking into, whatever report we get is looking into all of that, all those consequences, and also is taken into account. I think the new piece is the new developments that the DPW is doing to make Marston Street safer. I think this is an opportune time to include that in as well.
No, I mean, the which I think it makes more sense, but like you say, we have to wait for the study review, what his recommendation will be, and then we're gonna work from that, and 100% on your side. This is, like I told you, been going on for such a long time. I hope that would have happened a long time ago, like 10 years ago, but this is probably the best time. So the motion is to send document 278 to our city engineer for a study review. And please, if he can send his recommendation for our next ordinance meeting.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Councilor Levy,
Yes.
Councilor President,
Yes.
and the chair is voting yes. Okay, can I also get a motion to table document 27821?
So moved.
Okay, Councilor Levy,
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante,
Yes.
and the chair is voting yes. So the motion is to table also the document. Okay? Oh, I can. Officer Cano, just to let you know that Councilor President doesn't want me to take you now. So he said just continue with the top of the agenda, and then we can go to you. So let's finish with the agenda, and then we're going to call you.
I think I hear an objection.
Have any other item, Councilor Payano?
I do. Item 15-22. I stopped bringing you work here. Come on. You want more charter amendments?
Can I get a motion to take document 1522 out of table and out of order?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Councilor Levy,
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante.
Yes.
Yes, and I hope that Councilor Payano doesn't have any more. Okay.
Good evening,
Officer Cano,
Madam
it's your
Chair.
turn.
Council President, and councilors in Zoom. Thank you for having me tonight, and I have the ordinance, which is document number 1522. This is a document that was submitted, bless you, by Councilor at-large Pavel Payano on behalf of his constituent, Mr. Jesus, for a handicap parking sign to be placed for one vehicle space in front of her residence located at 35 Exchange Street. I do recommend for this request to be granted. If the council passes the request, the sign should be placed in the following location: from the northeast corner of Myrtle Street on Exchange Street, traveling north to a point 208 feet, and from the northeast corner of Myrtle Street on Exchange Street, traveling north to a point 228 feet. That should put the sign right in front of 35 Exchange Street. And I know that it looks, there's a number. It should say 28, 228.
Is 228 or is
208 to 228.
208 to 228? Okay. Just the same question, because I know in the past that you had been doing your research. Does applicant has any parking inside of the house, or they really need to be parking on the street? Councilor Payano.
Thank you. And first, thank you, Officer Cano, for all the work that you've done with these constituents. Madam Chair and the rest of members of the Ordinance Committee, so there is parking towards the side, but what is going on within this family is that they really need to have that parking in the front. Our constituent has fallen several, like the way that the house is situated, the times that they've used this parking space. It's just not convenient for them to be able to enter the household. So this individual has fallen several times, and what the family's trying to do is be able to use a handicap parking space so that way they have a direct line into the house and they don't have to essentially risk their health going into the household. So it's not an instance where you have a family that's trying to look for extra parking. These individuals are in need.
The reason why is because, there's a very narrow street and is always being very congested when you have to be traveling, doesn't matter which side. And I just want to make sure it's for their own safety. I'm not looking that they are looking for something personal, but, we had been, I'm going to be very strict on that because I know that many applicants, and I'm not talking anyone in particular, but they just want to have reserve a parking in front of the house just because they want to reserve it because they have tenants. Yep. And this is something that definitely we need to correct.
So, Madam Chair, I would agree 110% with you. I think in this case, the family is the individual that came to me was a teacher at Lawrence High for over 15, maybe 20 years, and what's going on within the household is an individual discapacitado, that's disabled, and it's really focused on safety. This person has, fallen several times getting into the house, and what they're looking for is for the city for some assistance in order to make sure that that person doesn't that something doesn't happen to that person, especially when if there's no one within the house. So I hope that the ordinance committee can give this a positive recommendation, because in no case is it that they're trying to get private parking or extend the number of parking spaces within that building.
Payano, thank you for being here, and just to make some clarification on that, because like I say, in the past, denial to other applicants just because they have in a similar situation. I'm not saying this is the same, but it's just that we have to be very strict with the parking space that we are providing to our applicants. And yes, I'm not an against, by no means, but just want to keep you in mind that whenever it's going to, whoever is going to request a handicap parking, we're going to be looking into that. Just because sometimes they move, they don't even report it that they have been moved, that space has been taken. When we have to do the snow removal, you know that they have a special treatment that they don't have to get up and move, but then they have to the city have to go back and clean it. So that's the only reason why. So I have no other question. And yes, I'm in favor that Councilor LaPlante.
Real quick question through you to Mr. Payano. So the description was that for safety, and I get that they sometimes are dropping somebody off so they get easy access to the car, and this is a person with a disability. Are they also parking their car there all the time? They need that parking spot, or is there just a place for access?
So it's yes, please.
Very good question. Thank you for that. So the issue is that the back of the stairs, it's basically the entrance to it is grandfathered in as to how it is, and it's not conducive to someone with a disability of being able to walk. And that person has fallen several times attempting to go up or down. And even though it's closer to the parking space, it's not within the means of that person being able to safely go up or down. So they're asking, and also the driveway itself is very small. So the chances of them getting into an accident going from the street, which is very narrow, both sides are being parked on Exchange Street. So them trying to maneuver and manage with the car going through the driveway, which is very narrow itself, and then getting to the back is not very good. When it snows, same situation applies, where it's very difficult to get someone to timely plow the area and enclose the space so that they can have access to the, to try and walk from the back of the house, down the driveway, to the front of the house to go into the house, into the apartment.
Ask that question again. So is it going to be used for parking or no? The spot?
The vehicle's gonna be used for parking and access to get into the house directly.
This is a parking space, so it'll be used for the handicap, for somebody to
Yes.
park their car. That's the question. So, and all the other stuff is important and good, but I just want to make sure it's being used for handicap parking. That's what the
Yes.
idea here. Okay.
Absolutely.
Recommendation to order a public hearing?
So moved.
All those in favor? Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante?
Yes.
And the chair is voting yes. Document 1522. So make sure this getting out of, 1522. Okay? Thank you, Councilor Payano. Do you have any other item? I hope not.
Thank you, guys.
I hope not. And like I say, Councilor Payano, that has nothing to do with your applicants. It's because all the issue that has been going on in the city, and especially that part of the city, that's the north side, which is a lot 2 and 3 decade. So we have to kind of be very strict on that, so.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I think I appreciate the favorable recommendation. I think that this item is unique. And I'll make sure that at the next ordinance meeting, you have maybe 10 or 15 items from me. So, I know how you like to see a lot of work from me, so I'll make sure to make that happen.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you. Okay. What can I do? So we're just going to continue with Officer Cano. So give us the items that the document in order, so that way I can take it, all of them, out of table and out of order, all at one as a block.
Yes, Madam Chair. The first one is gonna be 4322, 4422, 5522, 6622, 6722, 10622.
Counselor, can I get a motion to take document 4322, 4422, 5522, 6622, 6722, 0622 out of table, out of order, and as a block?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante?
Yes.
And the chair is voting yes. Officer Cano, the floor is yours.
Thank you. First one, document 4322, is being requested by Councilor Gregory Del Rosario of District C on behalf of his constituent, Mr. Jose Capayan, for one handicap parking sign to be placed for one vehicle in front of his residence located at 21 Magnolia Street. I do recommend for this request to be granted. If the council passes the request, the sign should be placed in the following location: from the northwest corner of Congress Street on Magnolia Street, traveling west to a point 104 feet. From the northwest corner of Congress Street on Magnolia Street, traveling west to a point 124 feet. This places a sign on the north side of Magnolia Street in front of 21 Magnolia.
Motion to send it with favor recommendation to order a public hearing.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Councilor Levy? Councilor President LaPlante?
Yes.
And the chair is voting yes.
Madam Chair, I'm just curious, because I'm not on the committee all the time, I don't get all everything. Did the police reports also come in through a different channel? You have a police report through you, Madam Chair?
That's in a file where we keep it here, so is that the question?
So oftentimes we see a police report, it's not in this package, but it's.
No, the reason that it's not in this package is usually in the package. But what they do early is they make a copy and they put it in our package. But we all have the report. That is, yes. So I asked them to do it in a separate file, only because sometimes we have to go through the whole application just to do the report. Okay, so the motion has been made, and second, we send it up with favor recommendation to order public hearing. Pat, I'm gonna repeat it, just 4322, just to take it out of table, because the item it shouldn't be. Okay? Thank you.
Document 4422 is the next. This is also by Councilor Gregory Del Rosario of District C on behalf of his constituents on Magnolia Street for a study review requesting to place Magnolia Street as a one-way from Congress Street to Florence Avenue. The length of Magnolia Street from Congress Street to Florence Avenue is 298 feet. The width of Magnolia Street at Congress Street is 25 feet, and at the bottom of the street on Magnolia Street at Florence is 25 feet. I do recommend for the traffic study to be placed and refer the matter over to the city engineer for his recommendation.
So at this point, we are gonna be sending this item. I'm not quite sure what to send it up without that study review, because I have to go through the city engineer. So we should wait until we get the city engineer report to send, to order a public hearing, because we're not gonna be ordering only a portion. So can I get a motion to retable document 4422?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Oh, wait, but did we make the motion before I finished calling the motion to send it to the city engineer? Yes, that's part of the motion.
I'll withdraw my motion.
Yeah,
There we
withdraw
go.
the motion is to send it to the city engineer for study review, and hope, expecting that we're gonna have that report for our next ordinance meeting.
So motion to send to the city engineer for a traffic report. That's some form of a motion.
And also to table the document, we can table this in time.
And to table the document.
All in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante?
Yes.
And Chair voting yes. So it's also to table, Pat, the document, okay? Officer Cano, 55.
Document 5522. This is an item requesting 15-minute parking for one car space in front of Nalux Lounge, which is located at 152, Unit L for left, on South Union Street, from Monday through Saturday, as allowed by the ordinance. The request is being placed by at-large Councilor Selena Reyes on behalf of the constituent and business owner Jennifer Vasquez. I do recommend for this request to be granted. If the council passes the request, the sign shall be placed at the following location: from the northeast corner of Abbott Street on South Union Street, traveling north to a point 65 feet, and from the northeast corner of Abbott Street on South Union Street, traveling north to a point 85 feet. This places a sign on the east side of the sidewalk in front of 152L South Union Street.
Motion is to send it with favor recommendation to order a public hearing.
Through you, Madam Chair, 7 days a week, 5 days a week, does it say?
Yes. I believe it was Saturday, Monday through Saturday, 6 days a week.
So
Close
this,
Sunday.
so this is nothing on Sunday, okay.
Nothing is on. Okay? So the motion has been made. And second?
I'll make the motion.
Yeah, you can make the motion,
There
yeah.
you go. Motion to send up to full council with favorable recommendation over public hearing.
All those in favor? The ayes have it. Levy?
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante?
Yes.
And voting yes.
6622. This request is being made by applicant, Mr. Hector Frias, for one handicap parking sign to be placed for one vehicle in front of his residence located at 29 Bohm Street. I do not recommend for this request to be granted for the following reasons. Bohm Street does not permit, by ordinance, no parking on either side of the street, although this public way is currently a two-way street. It is too narrow to allow for off-street parking. The street is graded with an extremely high elevation, at the top being High Street, to its base point on Prospect Street, which would be problematic during the winter months. I did take notice that the property also had a large driveway leading to an extensively large parking lot in the back. So therefore, I do not at this time believe it would be in his best interest to have a handicap parking on that street. Also, I believe that as part of what the city has already undertaken to make some of the streets a one-way, I believe Councilor Maria de la Cruz has put into place a request to have Bohm Street a one-way street. But I'm not sure as to where the process is with the city engineer on that one.
Okay, I only have one question for you. This applicant has been calling me almost every day. Have you had the chance to explain to the applicants why is the reason that you not recommended to place a handicap? And if you haven't, I encourage you to call them tomorrow and let them know, because this gentleman called almost every day. He's calling the office. The office has been giving my number, and he called me almost every day.
I tried reaching out to him. I will try again. If you want to table the item, that probably would be an idea, but that's fine. I will, once I do that, I'll advise and let you know.
Thank you. That was a great idea. I think at this point, I'm going to call the table document 6622.
Motion to table?
All those in favor? Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante?
Yes.
Thank you, Officer Khan.
6722 is a request by applicant Mr. Para for one handicap parking sign to be placed for one vehicle in front of his residence located at 68 Easton Street. I do recommend for this request to be granted. If the council passes the request, the sign should be placed in the following location: from the southeast corner of Clifton Street on Easton Street, traveling east to a point 72 feet. From the southeast corner of Clifton Street on Easton Street, traveling east to a point 92 feet. This places a sign on the south side of the sidewalk in front of 68 Easton Street.
Motion to send this document up to the full council with a favorable recommendation to order a public hearing.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Levy?
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante?
Yes.
And the chair voting yes.
Well, here it is. 10622 is the request from Councilor Maria de la Cruz, District A, requesting to place traffic study of Bohm Street as a one-way from High Street to Prospect Street. The length of Bohm Street from High Street to Prospect Street is 462 feet. The width of Bohm Street at the top of the street, which is High Street, is 20 feet, and the width at the bottom of Bohm Street, near Prospect Street, is 20 feet. I do recommend for a traffic study review to be placed and refer the matter to city engineer for his recommendation. And he probably has already done so, but I'm not sure if, where it is in the process.
Madam Chair, I'd like to send this document up to the city engineer for the purposes of conducting a traffic study. And while I'm at it, I'd like to table the matter.
Pat, you got that? Send it to the city engineer and also to table document 10622. Thank you. Always a pleasure to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, President LaPlante. And Councilor Levy, always, thank you.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to table document 75B22? The top of the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion that we table document 75B
B
22. That's the request for the temporary use of the Buckley Garage. I'd like to make that in a form of a motion.
All those in favor? Table document 75B.
Second.
Aye. Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante.
Yes.
Yes, 75B 22 is to table. Can I get a motion to take document 7822, 7922, 8022, 8122, 8222 as a block to send it to Officer Cano and also to table all the documents? Yeah, I'm gonna read it one by. Okay, so which one you have a question to take out of the?
Madam Chair, I've got a question regarding document 8122 and document 8222.
Okay, so we're gonna be
I'm
just
sorry.
calling, no problem. No parking in a. Yeah, request. Okay, you know what, let's do it, I don't wanna be calling, because we have to be calling roll call and all of that. So, document 7822, 7922, and 8022 as a block to send it to Officer Cano and also to table the document.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Councilor Levy,
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante,
Yes.
and the chair is voting yes. So document 78, 79, and 80 to send the Officer Cano and also to table all three documents. Document 8122, Councilor LaPlante, President LaPlante, what is your question on that one?
Madam Chair, thank you. So this is a unique request. The first sentence in the constituent's request is, I am requesting a, quote, "do not park" sign due to the fact that cars are blocking my driveway. And then on the agenda, it says no parking. First of all, I don't believe there's any ordinances that we have that have a "do not park" sign. Either you're allowed to park there or not allowed to park there. So maybe it is a no parking sign, but if you take a look at the pictures that were submitted, I think what the issue here is that people are not, if Officer Cano was here, I would ask him, but I don't think it's lawful to be parking in front of a driveway where there is a curb cut.
Excellent question, but I can answer some of, I can give you some of the answer. Still have to be sent it to Officer Cano because he's going to be able to explain what they have to do. And what he's going to end up doing is just to say, I do not recommend it because this is not an ordinance that anyone can ask no park it in front of my house. So I know that we had similar cases in your neighborhood one time, long time ago, that someone do not want to park in front of my house. And I remember there was only one house that they don't want to park. So I still have to send those two items to Officer Cano and table until he bring back something. Because we have to give the opportunity to the applicants just to kind of even to be present, that we can explain, which is most likely this is what is going to be happening, because we can make a motion to ask Officer Cano or send correspondent to the applicants to be present to our next ordinance meeting. Okay? So the motion, can I get a motion to take to send document 81 and 82 as a block to send Officer Cano, and also to table the document and send correspondent to the applicants to be present to our next ordinance meeting? It has two different names. It could be like it's two apartments, and the first one is asking, and they make it, they put twice, I don't know. So that's why we need to send someone.
Sure. So, the motion is send it to Officer Connors
For the recommendation, and also to send correspondence to the applicants to be present to our next ordinance meeting, and also to table document 81 and 82.
So moved.
Okay? All those in favor?
Aye.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante.
Yes.
And Chair is voting yes. Okay, next document 8522, Christmas lighting. Okay, so can I get a motion to table document 8522? Yeah, because they.
Make a motion to table.
Second.
Aye.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes.
And the chair is voting yes to table document 8522. 8622, Family Tracking Field Sport Day on 5/21. Do we have to? Can I get a motion to table document 8622?
So moved.
All in favor?
Yes.
Councilor Levy, yes. Councilor President LaPlante? Yes?
It's a yes.
Okay, and the chair voting yes. Thank you. Okay, that one is canceled. We don't even have to go to 8922 because that has been canceled. La fiesta del barrio, and that's gonna be, okay. Ken? Yeah, it's canceled, so we don't even have to do, we just send it for withdrawal. Can I get a motion to send document 8922, to place and file?
So moved.
Second.
8922, to place and file. For withdrawal. Yep, yep. So, Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor President?
Yes.
Chair voting yes. Can I get a motion to table document 9122, La Fiesta del Barrio Block Party Splash Park on 6/04/22 from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Motion to table document 9122.
So moved.
Aye.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor President?
Yes.
And the chair is voting yes. Okay, so then I have Presh the Lord, 9422, Presh the lower word April through December. Can I get a motion to table document 9422 and also to send correspondent to the applicants to be present to our next ordinance meeting?
So moved.
In favor? Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante?
Yes.
Is voting yes, and the reason why is because the time frame is from April to December, so we just kind of need to know where we're going with that. Okay? So, next document is 9622, preach the word of God May through August. Again, can I get a motion to table document 9622 and also to send correspondent to the applicants to be present for our next ordinance committee meeting?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante?
Yes.
And the chair is voting yes to table document 9622. Okay? Document 9722 is the handicap parking at 110 Auburn Street. Has been put on the agenda by Marisol Matias and myself. Can I get a motion to send this document to Officer Cano 97 and also to table document 9722?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante?
Yes.
And chair is voting yes to table document 9722, 9922, 15-minute parking at 388 Hampshire Street to support small business. Councilor Del Rosario. Can I get a motion to send document 9922 to Officer Cano for recommendation and also to table the document 9922?
So moved.
Motion has been made. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante?
Yes.
And the chair is voting yes to table document 99. Document 122, Gold Star Family Parking Only, Ordinance Councilor Infante. I believe that this is a daycare. What is that?
Madam Chair, so this is, I want to give credit where credit is due. Councilor Infante has been on the forefront of some Gold Star family issues in the city, and this is an issue where there is a Gold Star parent who is unable to find a parking spot near their house. One of the things that she's looking to do is to provide for something known as the Gold Star family parking spots. And so she's looking to have that, I think that's, I'm not sure.
No parking.
No parking except for the person who's the Gold Star parent.
Okay.
And so I think good for Councilor Infante for this effort.
Yes. Okay, so can I get a motion to send document 122 to Officer Cano and also to table document 122? So you waiting? You have, okay.
So, Madam Chair, just a refresher. So, they're looking to create this thing called, so it seems like there's two things. One is to establish an ordinance called Gold Star Parking and then apply that Gold Star Parking to 4 State Street in our city. We don't have any such animal right now as a Gold Star family parking. It seems like that would be, we should be able to carve that out in our ordinances and create a special ordinance just for that.
Then that changed. Now we have to send that to the city attorney, just to help with the final draft, to make sure that we can create an ordinance.
I believe this would be an ordinance, like,
Yeah.
yeah, so I think that that's exactly right.
So that we don't have to send that, Officer Cano yet. We have to wait until the city attorney, create the final draft, get in touch with, our colleague, Councilor Infante, just for her to give a little bit more, what she's looking, and you also can be included in that if you can help. Yeah, no, but since we know what we are doing, and I know, thank you. Thank you for doing that. She did call me and ask for help. So, since she's a new council, we need to kind of guide her through. Can you help her?
I'm certainly, as any counselor, I'm willing to help if they would like help.
Okay, so, motion to send document 122 to, the city attorney to do the final draft to create an ordinance for Gold Star family parking only. And also just, I'm gonna make the motion clear that Council President is also gonna be included, just to kind of help, to.
I am not Madam Chair, I am not I do support this, don't get me wrong, 110%, but I am not a sponsor of this, because this council.
You and Councilor, okay, Councilor Infante. Okay, so the motion.
Your motion is a good one, Counselor, and it's so moved to send to the
Okay.
city attorney.
To send this, the city attorney, and also to table the document 122.
And to include a tabling of it, correct.
Okay. So the motion has been made, properly second, all those in favor?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
one question. What kind of hair does she need?
What? Say that again.
What kind of hair does she need?
Okay, so,
Thank you, great question, Councilor Levy. She probably do not need help, so what we are looking is that whenever we send an item to the city attorney, she needs to know what we are looking to do. We can send a plain document, but she needs more information, and to make sure that we're gonna create an ordinance that is gonna be for Gold Star family. So that's the help that she needs. And actually, she doesn't need help. Let me take that back. It is like just to kind of get involved in, and I said, Councilor President, since he knowing he's not the sponsor, is Councilor Infante. But it's okay. So I'll talk to Councilor Infante just to kind of, go over with the city attorney. Okay?
Thank you.
So the motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor? Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante.
Yes.
And chair is voting yes to table and send the document to the city attorney. Okay, next document is 10722, part-time school children to make February 21st an official crown holiday, Councilor De La Cruz. So what we are looking to do here? Can I get a motion to table document 10722 and until Councilor De La Cruz give us a little bit more information? Motion to table document 10722?
So move.
Okay, so, table document 107, and Councilor Levy made the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante.
No.
And the chair voting yes, motion carried.
10922, request for resolution establishing language for RFP to RFQ. It has been put in the agenda by Mayor Brian DePena. So it's request for resolution establishing language for RFP. You have something, any document that it? Okay, what is it?
This is from, this resolution should include specific languages in all city bids giving local vendors, contractors, and residents priority without affecting the Massachusetts general laws that regulate the procurement process in place created by the Office of the Inspector General. Let me provide some context. So I think what the mayor is trying to do here is to create an ordinance, and he's trying to do this using a city council tool of a resolution. So it's a little awkward, but we understand what he's trying to do. So what he's looking for is to get a sense of this board that we're going to work toward getting language to change an ordinance or create an ordinance. What I just said. So that deals with the procurement laws, local procurement laws. This resolution shall include specific languages in all city bids giving local vendors, contractors. So what he's looking to do is he's looking to give a preference to Lawrence residents. That's what he's looking to do in this particular item. So, okay. Like any other resolution that comes before us, we would take a look at, I think there's several into this packet. It says what the issue is and look at what they're trying to do. So now that we know what he's trying to do, we should probably draft an order or an ordinance that does this. So what do? So we can work with the city attorney toward crafting an ordinance that gives preference to city residents, and I'm presuming it means not only let me see, this says here, residents and contractors, or even businesses that are in the city.
Okay.
So that it's a preference.
Okay, so yes, I'm in favor of that, so we was gonna table the document, send it to, the city attorney, right, for the final draft of language. To be provided to the ordinance committee, just to be sure that we all gonna be clear what we're gonna be voting and what this resolution is gonna be about.
And what would be really helpful is when any one of us, me included, sends something like this down, we need to be more precise as we possibly can, because when the city attorney gets this, she's going to say, all right, what kind of preference? She would want more details, and this is very, very general. I'll be happy to send this on up, but I just know there's going to be more questions.
Yeah.
So, do you want me to make a motion to send this to the city attorney to draft an ordinance and then to follow up with the tabling of the matter?
And table the item, right? So the motion is made. Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor President LaPlante.
Yes.
And the chair is voting yes.
I will also remind the committee that there's already an ordinance in the book that has a preference and a commission that's formed to make sure that Lawrence residents do get preference. So I'll be curious to see how the city attorney deals with this and the current ordinance.
Councilor, any table item that you wish to take at this time? Here, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Councilor Levy. To
Yes.
adjourn. President LaPlante.
Yes.
And the chair is voting yes. Thank you all for being helpful and be present in this meeting.